Welcome along to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're getting stuck into something quite specific but potentially huge for the 2025 British and Irish Lions Tour Down Under.
That's right. This idea of maybe, just maybe, introducing a golden point rule.
Exactly. It's causing a bit of a stir already. And hey, if you want to keep up with all these discussions, make sure you're subscribed to Rugby Obsession. You won't want to miss out.
Definitely subscribe. So yeah, we're drawing on reports from RugbyPass. Mainly, they've covered these constructive conversations between Rugby Australia and the Lions people.
Okay, so let's unpack it. What's the core idea here?
Well, the main proposal as it stands seems very specific. It's about what happens if the series is locked at one win each.
Right, going into the final test.
Exactly. And then that crucial third test ends in a draw after 80 minutes. Only then would this golden point potentially come into play.
Ah, okay. So it's not for any drawn game, just the decider if the series is tied.
That seems to be the focus of the conversation right now, yeah. And you can see where it comes from, can't you? Thinking back to 2017.
Oh, yeah, the Lions in New Zealand. That finished 1-1, didn't it? And the final test was 15-0.
Spot on, 15-15. And you had Kieran Reid and Sam Warburton lifting the trophy together. A nice moment of sportsmanship, sure. But for a lot of fans, maybe a bit, I don't know.
Anticlimactic.
That's the word many used, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward, anticlimactic. After such an intense series, maybe people wanted a single, clear winner.
Right. And this golden point idea isn't totally new in rugby, is it? Australia uses something similar.
They do. In Super Rugby, they call it Superpoint. It's actually the same thing, just the terminology differs. Golden point is more common up here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Okay, so remind us how that actually works in practice. The super point or golden point?
That's pretty straightforward. If the scores are level at full time, they play an extra 10 minutes.
Okay.
And the very first team to score any points could be a try, penalty, drop goal. Anything wins the match instantly. Game over.
Sudden death. High stakes.
Extremely high stakes, creates real drama. And Phil Waugh, the Rugby Australia chief, he basically said, look, everyone in Australia knows Superpoint. They like the excitement. It draws interest.
So bringing that excitement to the Lions Tour makes sense from their perspective.
That's the argument. Waugh mentioned it was put on the table in a recent meeting in London. He framed it as wanting to make the tour as fan-friendly as possible.
Fan-friendly often means dramatic finishes, I suppose.
It often does.
Yeah.
But crucially, he also noted that this isn't a done deal. Rugby Australia might propose it, but...
The Lions board has to agree. It needs both sides to sign off.
Absolutely. It has to be a joint decision for the tour regulations.
And you can bet there are opinions on this already. What are people saying? We looked at some RugbyPass comments.
We did.
Yeah.
And it's definitely mixed. You had one user, Raincloud, who wasn't familiar with Golden Point, highlighting that terminology difference again and was worried it might lead to something maybe a bit naff, like a drop goal competition deciding a Lions series.
Yeah, you can see that concern. Is that how it would work? Just first score?
As far as the standard Golden Point goes, yes, first score of any kind. No shootouts planned, as far as we know.
Okay. What else? Any traditionalists swing in?
Oh, yes. Someone called Mitch made the point quite forcefully that, a draw is a result in rugby. It happens. And calling the idea dumb.
Fair enough. Respecting the traditional outcomes of the game.
Exactly. And then there was a practical question raised, too, which you touched on earlier. What if the first or second test is a draw? Waugh specifically mentioned the third test decider scenario.
Right. So does it only apply then, or could we see golden point earlier in the series? That's still a bit unclear.
It is unclear from the reports so far. That detail seems quite important. We also had a bit of confidence from one commenter.
Ah, the classic pre-tour fighting talk.
Pretty much. Someone saying the rule won't be needed anyway because they're backing Australia to win the series outright. You've got to love the optimism.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be a Lions tour without that kind of chat. Now, just to ground this, the tests themselves, we know when and where they are, right?
Yep, locked in. Brisbane first on July 19th.
Okay.
Then Melbourne on the 26th.
Right.
And the potential decider in Sydney on August 2nd. Big venues, big crowds expected.
It's going to be massive. And speaking of the tour, there are other bits happening around it, too.
Yeah, the article mentioned the coaching team being announced for that First Nations and Pacifica Invitational XV. They're playing the Lions midweek, I think?
July 22nd in Melbourne, yeah. Another really interesting fixture.
Definitely adds to the whole event. And, the piece also touched on the Lions squad itself. The battle royale for all the shirts is how one writer put it. Competition will be fierce.
No kidding. And a little note of caution for Matt Dawson about maybe not overhyping young players like Henry Pollock too early.
Yeah, keeping expectations in check. It all just adds to the narrative building around 2025.
It really does. This golden point discussion is just one more fascinating layer, isn't it? Makes you think about how we actually want these epic contests to end.
It forces that conversation. Tradition versus maybe modern sporting expectations for a clear winner, especially on such a big stage.
It's a tricky balance. So thinking about it now, what's your gut feeling? Golden point for a Lions series. Decider, good idea, bad idea.
Oh, that's tough. Part of me loves the potential drama, but another part respects the history where a draw is a draw.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn too. We really want to know what you listening think about this. Is a golden point finish the ultimate excitement, or does it take something away from the game?
Let us know in the comments. It's a really interesting debate to have as we look ahead to the tour.
Definitely share your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this chat, please do subscribe to Rugby Obsession. We dive into stories like this all the time.
Your support keeps us going.
Well, thanks for joining us for this Rugby Obsession deep dive into the potential golden point rule.
Been a pleasure. Lots to think about.
We look forward to you listening to our next episode. And one last time, subscribe to Rugby Obsession.